Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we will be discussing about the Routh-Hurwitz table. This Routh-Hurwitz table is used to determine the stability of a system. Now, before going to this actual table, we will be discussing a little bit about the stability of a system. So, a system is said to be a stable system when it gives bounded output for bounded input. Bounded output for bounded input. A system is said to be stable when it gives bounded output for bounded input. What does bounded mean? Bounded means it should be absolutely integrable, right? Or it should decay with time, and eventually at infinite, the value of that function should be 0. That is meant by the term bounded. So, given a system, if you are providing the bounded input to this system, let us suppose our input is like this, where this is RT and T, then bounded output can be like anything like this. So this is just randomly I've drawn some system and provided its input and provided its output, which is representing bounded input and bounded output. So a system is said to be stable if it gives bounded output for bounded input. So this is first condition. Another definition for stability is that if all the poles of any system are on the left hand side of S-plane, then system is stable. If all the poles of any system are on the left hand side of S-plane, if all the poles of any system are on the left hand side of S-plane, then system is said to be stable, right? Given an S-plane, if you are having the knowledge where are our poles, let us suppose this is our S-plane, and if suppose all the poles are lying on the left hand side of our S-plane, then in this case our system is said to be a stable system. Next definition is that system is BIBO stable, that is bounded input bounded output stable, if and only if its impulse response is absolutely integrable. Its impulse response is absolutely integrable. This is another definition of a stable system. Suppose if you are having the system and if you are having its impulse response, and if the impulse response of the system should be absolutely integrable, right? For example, if suppose you want output and input, that is CS is representing output and R of S is representing input, and let us suppose that this is the open loop transfer function, that is G of S. So C of S will be equal to G of S into H of S. Now, G of S into R of S. Now, provided here that R of S will be equal to 1. That is, we are considering that input to that system is impulse function, right? So we know that the Laplace transform of impulse function is 1, where RT is equal to del T, right? Then C of S will be equal to G of S. Now, if you want to calculate its output, you have to integrate it, right? So that will be Laplace inverse of C of S will be equal to Laplace inverse of G of S. So in a way, I can write that its impulse response should be absolutely integrable. That means if I want to represent in mathematical way, so it can be represented at 0 to infinite. G tau is the Laplace inverse transform of our open loop transfer function. D tau should be less than infinite. So this is the condition, third condition, right? So there are three conditions to be said our system is stable or not. The first condition is that it should give bounded output for bounded input. Second condition is that all the poles of any system are on the left hand side or should lie on the left hand side. Third condition is that its impulse response should be absolutely integrable. That means this should this rule should be followed. So out of these three rules, if your system is following any of the rule, then your system is said to be a stable system. Coming back to next category of our system. So next category is marginally stable system. Marginally stable system. So if any system gives oscillatory output for bounded input, then system is marginally stable. By definition, if any system gives oscillatory output for bounded input, then that system is marginally stable. What does this mean? Suppose, again, we are considering one case. If you are having our system and we are providing input and getting certain output. Now let us suppose in this case we are again providing a bounded input. Let's suppose this is r of t and this is time. And for this input, if our system is providing the oscillatory response, as you can see, it is never dying or it is never reaching to zero at time is equal to infinite. If this kind of response is observed for bounded input, then we can say that our system is working in a marginally stable condition. This is the first definition. Second definition is that if a pair of poles is on imaginary axis, if a pair of poles is on imaginary axis and rest of the poles are on left hand side of S-plane, then in this case also system is said to be marginally stable. Now, for example, again, given an S-plane, you are having the knowledge about the location of poles. So let us suppose this is our S-plane, and we are having the knowledge of our poles. Let us suppose one pole is like here, like one pole is here, and complex conjugate poles are here, and one pair of poles are on this location. Now, if such conditions are there, then we can say our system is marginally stable system. Now, for unstable system, if all the poles or if any poles are on the left hand side, next kind of system is third category is unstable system. If any pole or poles are on right hand side of S-plane, then it is unstable system. For example, let us draw the location of poles again. So this is real axis, this is imaginary axis. And let us now, in this case, suppose we are having the poles here, here, again, here, and one pole is on the right hand side. Now, under such conditions, we can say that system is a unstable system. So this is belonging to an unstable system if such conditions are there, such that any one of the pole are on the right hand side. Next definition of unstable system is unbounded output. Unbounded output for bounded input. If you are providing a bounded input to a system and you are getting unbounded response, then we can say that the system is unstable system. Again, let us suppose we are having a system and we are providing an input and getting an output. Let us suppose we are providing an bounded input, and in response to this bounded input we are getting an unbounded response. Unbounded response means at t is equal to infinite, the function is not zero and it is always increasing. So this type of response, you can say this is an unbounded response, right? So then in this case we can say that the system is unstable system. Now again, to define all the three conditions, so these are the only three conditions which can occur in any system. So let us suppose we are having a system, and if we are providing a input here such that the input is bounded, let us suppose this is our input where RT and T, and here input is going. Now this is the output. So three conditions can be there. First condition is that it can give the bounded output. Let us suppose this is bounded output YT. This is the first condition. In this condition the system is said to be stable. Second condition can be there. Second condition can be there where you are having an oscillatory response. This kind of system is called as marginally stable. And third kind of response can be unbounded response. So this type can be called as unstable system. So given a system, if you're providing the bounded input and if you're getting the bounded output, then we can call that system as a stable system. If you're getting a oscillatory response, then we can call that system to be a marginally stable system. And if you're getting unbounded response, then we can call that system to be an unstable system. Now for proving this condition, you should have the knowledge about the system, and you should provide the certain input and observe certain output. You can use this in simulation such as MATLAB or any other simulation tool. Now, but other methods are also available for determining the stability of a system. Let's suppose if you are having the knowledge of poles. Let's suppose we are having an S-plane, and if any poles are lying on the left hand side, if all the poles are lying on the left hand side of S-plane, if all the poles are lying on the left hand side of S-plane, then we can say that the system is stable system. That is, all poles are on left hand side. Second condition can be there that a pair of poles can lie on the imaginary axis. So this is our imaginary axis, right? This is the real part, imaginary part, and this is S-plane. If a pair of poles are on the imaginary line and all the other poles are on the left hand side, if the system is having other poles and all the other poles should lie on the left hand side, and if suppose a pair of poles are on the imaginary axis, then we can say that the system will be a marginally stable system. Marginally stable. Next condition can be there. That is the last condition. That condition says that if any poles are on the left hand side, irrespective of all the other poles, if suppose if your system is having 10 poles, and if out of 10 poles 9 poles are on the left hand side but single pole is on the right hand side, as you can say in this condition, then that system is said to be an unstable system, right? So this is for unstable system. So I hope that you are now able to clearly visualize, given the condition of input and output, given the condition of location of poles, you should be able to tell whether the system is stable, marginally stable, or unstable. Now, with all these things in as our basic understanding, we will be moving forward to the Routh table, right? So let us say that Routh-Hurwitz table. Now let us look into how we can make the Routh-Hurwitz table. So rather than giving the whole description about the generalized way, we will be seeing this Routh-Hurwitz table through some examples or solved examples, you can say. So first example we will be taking is we are directly taking one example where the characteristic equation of any system is given. Characteristic equation means the denominator part of the transfer function, or the 1 plus gs hs part. You can also call that as a characteristic equation. For example, let us say that we are having a transfer function which is given by cs upon rs, that is output by input. This is the standard transfer function of any system. So this characteristic equation will be one plus GSHS, and when you equate this characteristic equation 1 plus GS into HS equal to 0, you will be getting as the poles of the system, right? For a unity feedback system, unity feedback means for unity feedback system H of S will be equal to 1. For unity feedback system, then it will characteristic equation will become 1 plus GS will be equal to 0. This is for unity feedback. Unity negative feedback, you can say. Right? So here in this our problem, the characteristic equation is directly provided to us. So let us just see that example. So s to the power 5 plus s to 2s to the power 4 plus s cube plus 3s square plus 2s plus 1 is equal to 0. Let us suppose that we are having this characteristic equation, and for this equation we want to determine whether our system is working in stable condition, marginally stable condition, or unstable condition. Now how we can determine this? We can determine this by using the Routh table, which I will be drawing. So Routh table says that you have to start with the highest power of s. The highest power of s is s to the power 5, and we have to make a table. Right, s to the power 5, then we have to decrease the power of s, that is s to the power 4, s to the power 3, s to the power 2, s to the power 1, and then s to the power 0. Right, and how to fill the remaining elements? So starting with s to the power 5, since our starting power is odd, that is 5, we will fill the coefficient of all the odd powers of s, that is s to the power 1, and here we are having s to the power 0. So all the odd power coefficients, we will be writing that. So just pay attention. The coefficient of s to the power 5 here in this equation is 1. The coefficient of s to the power 3 is 1 again, and the coefficient of s to the power 1 is 2. Coefficient of s to the power 4, here in second case you can see coefficient of s to the power 4 is 2. Now we will be decreasing and we will be taking the coefficient in even power of s. So next power will be s to the power 2. S to the power 2 coefficient is 3, as we can see here, and s to the power 0 is having the coefficient of 1. Now up till this point I think it is very clear that first we have to select maximum power of s, and if suppose that maximum power is odd, then you have to fill the table in odd power of s, right? Then s to the power 4 is belonging to an even power, the next second highest power, then we have to fill that remaining power of s. Now how to fill up this remaining rows of this, that we will see. So next, what should come here and what should come here and what should come here? Let us suppose let us say that this is equal to a, this is equal to b, and this is equal to c term. So a will be equal to 2 into 1 minus 3 into 1 divided by 2. That means a will be equal to this term, that is 2 multiplied by 1 minus 3 multiplied by 1. So this will be equal to our a term. For B, so term B will be equal to, for B will be equal to 2 multiplied by 2 minus 1 multiplied by 1 divided by 2. So that means this 2 will be multiplied by this 2 minus this 1 will be multiplied by this 1 upon this 2 itself, right? So I hope you are following the pattern. And C, the coefficient of C will be equal to, since there are no terms here, as you can see, there are no terms here. So 2 will be multiplied by 0. So this will be equal to 0 itself. So C will be equal to 0. Now, if you solve this, the value of A will come out to be, I think, minus 0.5. And value of C will come out to be 1.5. So let us just replace our coefficient of A, B, and C with our terms. Let me rub this as well, so it will be more clearer. Okay, so instead of A we have to write minus 0.5, instead of B we have to write 1.5, and instead of C we have to write 0, right? Now next term, that is S, next row, how we can fill, again the same pattern will be there. That means this term multiplied by this term minus this term multiplied by this term whole divided by this term, that is minus s to the power 5, right? So let us just say this is, so let us just say this is x and this is y. So let me write it for x. X will be equal to minus 0.5 multiplied by 3 minus 1.5 multiplied by 2 whole divided by minus 0.5, and y will be equal to, and y, that means this y will be equal to, so let me show how you can calculate y as well. So y will be equal to this term multiplied by this term minus 0 multiplied by this term whole divided by minus 0.5. So I hope you are following the pattern, that is minus 0.5 multiplied by 1 minus 0 multiplied by 2 whole divided by minus 0.5. So from here you can calculate x and y. So I am having the values beforehand. So x will be equal to 9 and y will be equal to 1. I hope there are no mistakes here. So in this way we have to fill all the remaining rows of our table, right? And this term will come out to be 0, right? Next, how you can fill now, I hope that you have got the point. So next, s to the power 1 row will be equal to this term 9 multiplied by this term minus 1 multiplied by this term whole divided by this 9, right? So let us say that we are having here z. So z will be equal to 9 multiplied by 1.5 minus 1 multiplied by minus 0.5 whole divided by 9. So you can solve this, and we are having the value as 1.56. So z will be equal to 1.56, and here we will be getting 0. Right? So let me rewrite this. Now the last rows, that is remaining rows. So this is fairly simple. That is 1.56 multiplied by 1 minus 0 multiplied by 9 will be 0 divided by 1.6. So we will be getting here at last 1. Right? So this, we have formed the routes table, and once the routes table has been formed, we have to pay attention only to the first column of our routes table. So what is the first column of our routes table? This is the first column of our routes table, right? So this is the first column. We have to you can write, for understanding more properly, you can write it separately. So what are the terms in the first column? You can see what are the terms. So it is 1, 2, minus 0.5, 9, 1.56, and 1. Now what you have to do, we have written the terms of first column. You have to observe how many sign changes are there in the first column. Suppose this is positive, this is positive number, negative, then positive, then positive, then positive. So how many sign changes are there? So when we move from first element to second element, you can see that there are no sign changes. That is, it is remaining at positive only, right? So when we are moving from positive to minus 0.5, so here you can see that there is a sign change. So you can write sign change. Again, from negative to positive, again there is a sign change. Again, when you move from positive to positive, positive to positive, so there are no sign changes. So there are, how many sign changes are there? There are 2 sign changes. So Rauthovich table says that if there are 2 sign changes are there, that means number of poles on right hand side is given by number of sign changes in first column of Rauthovich table. Number of sign changes here are 2. So that means number of poles on the right hand side poles will be is equal to 2. And from previous discussion, we know that if any poles are on the right hand side, that system is unstable system, right? So this is the condition, right? So that means since there are 2 poles on the right hand side, that means the system will be unstable system. So it means that the characteristic equation that we are having for this example is corresponding to an unstable system. That means this equation is belonging to an unstable system, right? I hope this is clear to all of you. We will take one more example shortly. So this is the condition for unstable system. Once you are having the routes table, and how to form the routes table, I think you have to take the maximum power of S here. So what we have done, we've taken the maximum power of S. You can see, so maximum power of S is 5, that is odd. So we have filled all the coefficient of odd power of S. The next is S to the power 4, that is even, and we have filled all the even power of S, you can see. And rest of the rows you have to calculate, and how you can calculate, I've shown you the pattern, and you can follow that same pattern to each and every problem of routes table, and you will be getting the answer. After forming the routes table, what you have to do, you have to take a closer look at the first column of the routes table. So this is the first column of the routes table. For proper understanding, you can rewrite this first column into a separate thing, and you can see I have written here separately, and what I'm doing, I'm observing, are there any sign changes in the first column. So as you can see that there are 2 sign changes, which is seen here. So number of sign changes will give you the number of right hand side poles. So there are 2 sign changes, that means 2 poles are on the right hand side. So that means our system is an unstable system. So this is a trick, or you can say a method, from which we can determine the stability directly. And we are not worried about here the location of poles. The exact locations of poles are not known, right? So that is not our objective. Our objective is to find out whether the system is stable, unstable, or marginally stable, which we are fulfilling by, you can see, by calculating that this many number of poles are on the right hand side. So let us move to the next example. And next example, again, a characteristic equation is been directly given. But do not confuse yourself whether how you can calculate the characteristic equation. If you have provided with open loop transfer function, that is G of S, you can always calculate the characteristic equation by the formula, but that is 1 plus G of S into H of S is equal to 0, right? If it is a unity negative feedback system, you can equate H of S is equal to 1, and that characteristic equation will become 1 plus GS is equal to 0, right? Suppose if the transfer function is, if the open loop transfer function is provided to you, that is G of S will be equal to 1 upon S plus 1 or S plus 1. I'm just giving you an example, and you have to find out its characteristic equation. So what you can do, and this is for unity negative feedback system, what you can do, you can equate 1 plus GS is equal to 0. So this will be 1 plus GS will be equal to 1 plus S plus 1 will be equal to 0. So this will be S plus 1 plus 1 will be equal to 0. So S plus 2. So S plus 2 is the characteristic equation of this open loop transfer function, as you can see. So do not confuse yourself. You can directly calculate the characteristic equation from open loop transfer function as well. Or if the transfer function is directly given to you, that is closed loop transfer function is directly given to you, you can calculate the characteristic equation by by calculating the denominator part, right? So in the next example, we are having we have directly been provided with the characteristic equation. So the characteristic equation is s to the power 4 plus 4s to the power 3 plus 2s to the power 2 plus 3s plus 2 is equal to 0. Here also we have to calculate the stability of a system, right? So again, we will proceed by making the routes table. So that is s to the power 4, s to the power 3, s to the power 2, s to the power 1, and s to the power 0. So maximum power is 4. You can see 4 is even. So we will fill the coefficient of all the even power of s. You can see I have marked it. So this is 1, 2, and 2. Now we will fill the odd power of s. This is s to the power 3, s to the power 2. So that is 4 and 3 are only there and no other. So we can write it here. Now we have to calculate this a, b, right? And c you can say, and you can write here x, y, and you can write here z. So you have to calculate all of this term. So a, I have already told you how you can calculate. That is 4 multiplied by 2 minus 3 multiplied by 1 divided by 4. B will be equal to 4 multiplied by 2 minus 0 multiplied by 1 divided by 4, right? So let us just write the values of a, b, and c. So a will be equal to 5 by 4 and b will be equal to 2 and this will be 0. Now let us calculate x. So x will be equal to 5 by 4 multiplied by 3 minus 2 multiplied by 4 divided by 5 by 4, and y will be equal to 0. As you can see, because 5 by 4 multiplied by 0 and 0 multiplied by 4, that will ultimately give you 0. So x values of x and y. So x will be equal to minus 3.4 and this is 0. And finally you can calculate z. So z will be equal to minus 3.4 multiplied by 2 minus 0 divided by minus 3.4. So that will be coming out to be 2. So z value of z will be equal to 2. So this is the first. Now we have made the routes table. Now what we have to do again, we have to observe the first column here. So just observe the first column, right? If you want, you can write it down separately, or I will analyze the first column directly by this. So when we move from this to this, so there are no sign change. When we move from this to row to this, there is no sign change. When we move from here to here, there is sign change. So I can write here sign change. When we move from minus 3 to here again sign change. So how many sign changes we are observing? As you can see from the first column, there are 2 sign changes. So that means 2 poles are on the RHS side of S plane. So if there are 2 poles are on the left hand side, then we can say that the system is unstable system. I hope this is making use. This is clear to all of you. Okay. Now we will. So this is the condition where we can find the stability of a system directly by building the routes table. Now there are some special cases also there in the route table, which we will be having a look into it. Right. First special case. So I can write a heading. Special case in route Hurwitz table. First special case, there are 2 cases. First one by one we will be seeing, and we will be seeing that case by solved example only. So case 1, if any one element of the first column of the table becomes 0, if any one element of first column of the table becomes 0, while rest of the rows has at least one non-zero term. Now this example, this is a case. Let us suppose we are having the routes table, right? and we are having s to the power 6, s to the power 5, s to the power 4, s to the power 3, s to the power 2, 1, and s to the power 0. Now, while calculating the routes table, let us suppose that randomly I'm drawing A1, A2, A3, and A4, B1, B2, B3, and B4. So let us suppose this s to the power 4 term becomes 0, right? And this is a non-zero, that is C2, C3, right? Now, how you will proceed, because for calculating the next row, you have to divide it by this term, right? And this term is, you can see, is 0. So when you divide this with 0, that term will become infinite. So it will be really hard to calculate the rest of the remaining rows of the table. Now, how to proceed in this case, we will be seeing shortly, right? So you can see if any one of the element of the first column of the table becomes 0, which is in this case, while rest of the rows has at least one non-zero term. So all others are having some terms. Now, how to proceed in this case, we will be seeing shortly. So in this case, replace 0 by small positive number zeta. What we will be doing in this case, replace 0 by small positive number zeta, we are calling at zeta, and evaluate rest of the routes table. Then examine the sign change in first column by setting zeta tends to 0 positive, right? So what does it is saying here, that if any one of the term is becoming 0 or the first column, what we have to do, we have to replace it by zeta and calculate the rest of the terms having zeta in it. And at last, what you have to do, all the terms which are having zeta, you can place a limit such that zeta will tends to 0 positive, right? And in after that, what you can do, you can observe, are there any sign changes in the first column? If there are any sign changes, then you can decide the stability accordingly. So we will be seeing this while by doing an example again. So let us suppose again we are having the characteristic equation of a system, that is s to the power 5 plus s to the power 4 plus 2 s to the power 3 plus 2s to the power 2 plus 3s plus 5 is equal to 0. Let us suppose we are having this characteristic equation, and here we have to determine the stability. So what is the maximum power of s we are seeing here? That is s to the power 5, then s to the power 4, then s to the power 3. Then you can replace all the other time, that is s to the power 2, s to the power 1, and at last we are having s to the power 0. So you can see that the highest power is odd. So first we will be filling the odd power, or all the odd coefficient, that is coefficient of these terms, that is 1, 2, and 3. Then we are having the even power, that is coefficients are 1, 2, and 5. Right? Now I think you can directly calculate this, that is this term will come out to be 0 and this term will come out to be -2. Right? So here what you have to do, you have to replace this 0 by a small positive number. Let us say that small positive number is zeta, and zeta is tending to 0 positive. Now you have to continue building the rest of the rows. So this row will become 2 zeta. I'm assuming that you are now following the pattern. So I'm directly writing this will be equal to 2 zeta plus 2 upon zeta, and this will be equal to 5. Then this will be equal to -4 zeta minus 4 minus 5 zeta square upon 2 zeta plus 2, and this term will be 0, and this term will be equal to 5. Right? So what you have to do, you have to again observe the first column of the table, routes table. First column. What are the elements we are having in the first column? You can see we're having 1, 1 zeta, So we are having 1, 1 zeta. Then we are having 2 zeta plus 2. Then we are having minus 4 zeta minus 4 minus 5 zeta square divided by 2 zeta plus 2. And then we are having 5. Right? So now what we have to do, we have to put the limit equal to zeta. So when you put limit equal to zeta is equal to 0 plus in the first condition, so this will be equal to zeta is tending to 0 positive. That means from here to here there are no sign change. From here to here there are no sign change again. Now when you move to from here to here, you have to calculate what is this. So limit zeta tends to 0 positive, 2 zeta plus 2. You do not have to calculate the quantity, but you have to determine what will be the resultant sign. So when you put the resultant sign, there will be, you can say that our result will be positive. When you put the limit zeta is equal to 0 plus, that result will be positive. So you can write here no sign change here again. When you move from here to here, again you have to find out what is the sign. So 0 positive minus 4 zeta minus 4 minus 5 zeta square whole divided by 2 zeta plus 2. So when you put the limit zeta is equal to 0 positive, so this term will be equal to negative. This term will be equal to negative. And and this term will be, whole term will give you the positive. So negative divided by positive will be negative. So here will be sign change. When you move from this to this, as you can see, from negative to positive, again there is a sign change. So there are two sign changes, as you can see, when we are moving from negative to positive, positive to negative. So these are the two sign changes, as you can observe here. So two sign changes means, it means that two poles are on RHS. That means two poles are on the right hand side. That means the system will be unstable system. So I hope this special case is clear to you. Again, I will be explaining shortly. Okay. So what is given here? If any of the term has become 0, what you can do? You can replace that 0 by small positive number, that is zeta. Zeta is a very small positive number. That means it is tending to 0 positive, right? And what is the condition? That rest of the, we are having the rest of the route for which stable, we can calculate the rest of the route stable, right? And then we can determine whether there are sign changes or not by putting the limit zeta is equal to 0 plus. So let us suppose we are having this characteristic equation, and here we are getting zeta is equal to, we are getting the row or the term is equal to 0. So what we have done, we have replaced it by zeta, and we have calculated the rest of the term. And once we have calculated, we can observe the first column, and you can put the limit of zeta is equal to 0 plus, as we have done here. And once we are doing here, so you can observe here in this case that there is a sign change. So how many sign changes are there? You can follow from the previous example as well. There are two sign changes. So that means two sign changes means that the system is unstable system. So this is a special case in route stable. Now we will see the second special case. So case 2. So case 1 was when one term will become 0, then that is termed as case 1. And case 2 will be when all the elements of any one row becomes 0, right? Then instead of one term becoming 0, we are now, the second case will be all the elements is becoming 0. Now, for example, let me again draw the route table, right? Let us say we are having s to the power 6, s to the power 5, s to the power 4, s to the power 3, 2, 1, and so on. And the terms we are having here is A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, so on. And after solving this, the s to the power 4 row is coming out to be 0, 0, 0, 0. That means all the terms of that row has become 0. So this is the case, special case of second case, right? When all the elements of any one row is becoming 0. Under such condition, how we can proceed, we will be seeing shortly, right? So in such condition, we consider an auxiliary equation. In such condition, we consider an auxiliary equation and differentiation of that auxiliary equation by S and replace 0 by coefficient of differentiation of auxiliary equation. So we will be seeing this with the help of example. Do not get confused. So what we have to do first, when we got all the terms of any row are 0, what we have to do, you have to consider an auxiliary equation, right? You have to consider an auxiliary equation, and how you can what is that auxiliary equation? You can form that auxiliary equation by just above row of 0, like by the terms or the coefficient of just above row of 0, right? And what you have to do, you have to differentiate that with respect to S, and the coefficient after differentiation that you will be getting, that coefficient you have to substitute in place of 0, and then you can calculate the rest of the rows of the routes table. Now we will continue our discussion. We will write, I will give you a side note here. So if all the elements of any one row becomes 0, if all the elements of any row becomes 0 and no sign changes in first column of the table, then closed loop system is marginally stable. Or roots of characteristic equation are on imaginary axis. What does this statement shows? That if all the elements of any one rows become 0 and you form the auxiliary equation, you differentiate that auxiliary equation and you replace the coefficient of differentiation with all the other 0 terms, and you continue building the route table. And after completing the route table, what you have to do, you have to observe the first column of the table, right? When you are observing the first column of the table, and in there there are no sign changes. If you observe and they all the terms are positive, that means the closed loop system in that condition will be marginally stable. Just keep this thing in mind. In that case, the system will not be stable, but it will be marginally stable, and roots of characteristic equation are on the imaginary axis. That means some roots or a pair of roots will be on the imaginary axis. So this is the first note. If there are sign changes, in first column, then system is unstable. That means you have got the row of 0. That means all the terms of the row has become 0, and you have differentiated the auxiliary equation. You have calculated all the other terms of the routes table, and then after that you are observing the first column of the routes table. And suppose after that you are observing the sign change. If you are observing the sign change in the first column, under that condition your system will be unstable. So if you are having the row of 0, that means if all the term of the routes table is becoming 0, under this condition there are only two conditions. System can be either marginally stable or system can be unstable. No way from this condition the system can be stable system, right? So there are only two possibilities in case 2. Either the system can be marginally stable or unstable. Marginally stable when there are no sign changes in the first column. unstable when there are sign changes in the first column. So I think this is clear. Now we will be seeing the example shortly. Again, we will be considering an example, and we are considering the characteristic equation, that is s to the power 3 plus 2s to the power 2 plus 2s plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's suppose that this is our characteristic equation. For this equation, we have to calculate the stability. So what is the maximum power or highest power of s we are seeing here? That is s to the power 3, then s to the power 2, then s to the power 1, then s to the power 0. Right? So first is odd power. So now we will be writing the quotient of odd, that is in decreasing order, 1 and 1. So this is 1 and 2. And then even power, that is 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. Right? Now you can calculate the s to the power 1 row, that is this will come out to be, I think, 0, and this will also be come out to be 0. That means we are having the row of 0 here. So what you have to do, you have to formulate an auxiliary equation. An auxiliary equation you can just form by the row above row of 0, by the coefficient of row above row of 0, that's 2 and 4. So 2 multiplied by s to the power 2, auxiliary equation will be equal to 2s to the power 2 by s to the power 2, because s to the power 2 is the maximum power in this row. As you can see, this is the maximum power, and the first coefficient is 2. Then we have to decrease the power of s in even term, because this is the first term is s to the power 2. So next will be s to the power 0. So that means 4 into s to the power 0. So this auxiliary equation will become 2s square plus 4. Now what you have to do, you have to differentiate this auxiliary equation with respect to s. So this will become 4s plus 0, right? So once 4s plus 0, that means now what you have to do, you have to replace this 0, row of 0, by the coefficient of differentiation. That is what you have to do. Let me rub this, and I can replace this by 1 and 0. And once we have got this, once we have replaced this row of 0, what you can do, you can calculate the rest of the terms. That is 1 into 4. So multiplied by this, so this will be equal to, I think, 4. Now what you have to do, so this we have made the routes table. What you have to do, you have to observe the first column of the routes table. Again, observe there are no sign changes here, no sign changes here, and no sign changes here. So there are no sign changes, but we have got the row of 0. That means all the terms of a row have become 0. So in this case, that system will be equal to marginally stable. That means marginally stable system means the system will oscillate, right? After providing certain input, the system will oscillate. And we can find out the frequency of oscillation. We can find out the frequency of oscillation by the auxiliary equation. So auxiliary equation was 2s square plus 4. You can calculate the frequency of oscillation. Frequency of oscillation means at which frequency our system is oscillating. So what you can do, you can equate it to 0. You can equate auxiliary equation equal to 0. So this will be equal to 2s square will be equal to minus 4. So s square will be equal to minus 2, and s will be equal to plus minus j root 2. So the frequency of oscillation is under root j root 2. That is under root of root 2. This is the frequency of oscillation, and you can represent this in the s plane as well. This is real part, and this is sigma part, imaginary part, and this is plus j root 2, and this is minus j root 2. So these are the two conditions in Raoult-Hurwitz, or special condition in Raoult's table. First condition is that one term is becoming 0, and second condition is that whole row is becoming 0. So when whole row has become 0, there can be only two conditions. Either the system can be marginally stable or unstable. Marginally stable when there are no sign changes in the first column. Unstable when there are sign changes in the first column. If the system is marginally stable, that means the system is oscillating with certain frequency. And in that case, you can calculate the frequency of oscillation by equating the auxiliary equation equal to 0. And you can also find out the location of poles. So I hope this video lectures helps you in clearing your doubts in Raoult-Hurwitz table. I will be uploading the questions for you from this topic. You can solve these questions and you can build up your concept more. And I will also be providing the notes as well as the solutions for that problem that I will be uploading it in the system. So thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the best for your future.